Hi.
We're live. What's up, nation? Happy 2016. I am super pumped tonight. We're having a little problem getting Brian on, and he's been cutting in and out. So I don't know. Hopefully, we'll have Brian with us later on. If not, we've got plenty of inspiration for you. The first thing I want to do tonight is just kind of I'm going to do a quick year in review, and then just kind of let you guys know what's coming up. And then I'm going to let Alan have the floor. He's going to give you guys some tips. You guys all know Alan. He's lost 64 pounds, won $1,500 on the Beachbody Challenge, and was our Coach of the Year this year, or in 2015. So we've got plenty for you guys. We're going to try to keep this call around an hour. That usually never happens, but we're going to try our best. And if we've got time, we'll do some Q&As. What I really want you guys to do is I want you guys commenting and participating below this link. So if you see the link in the 2016 group, introduce yourself, let us know who you are, let us know your story. You're not going to get near as much out of this group if you don't make connections and build relationships. So we want you to do that. As far as last year went, TD Nation grew like crazy. We grew 33% over prior year. We introduced TD Nation boot camps, and for those of you that don't know, I was on a vacation and just kind of had the idea sitting on the beach, so I need to go on more vacations, I think. But we had the idea of doing meal plans because everybody had been asking for meal plans for years, and I didn't want to do them because cookie cutter meal plans just aren't good, and I didn't have time to write specific meal plans for everybody, especially with everybody's likes and dislikes, and it's just very, very complicated. So I had the idea of boot camps and how I was going to lay out the ebooks in order to accommodate everybody's different metabolism, that kind of thing. So we did a test group, and our first test group I think had 250 people in it, and on average they lost 2.5 pounds per person per week. So everybody was losing close to 10 pounds for the 4 weeks, which was just incredible. And like I've said before, sometimes 2 pounds a week may not sound a lot, but that's 104 pounds in a year, and most people don't have 104 pounds to lose. So losing 2 pounds a week is more than enough to get you to your goal. And the boot camps are really good because we're teaching people how to make this a lifestyle. The one thing we really want to pound home is that you don't have to cut certain foods out of your diet. You can eat pretty much anything. You just have to eat at your body's ability to process it. So finding that right calorie range, that right macro range is essential for your success, and it's going to allow you to continue long term. And obviously it's worked because our TD Nation members now won over $15,000 in the Beachbody Challenge. So we had a bunch of winners last year, which was awesome. I really thought Brian Beam was going to win $5,000, but he didn't get it. I think he got robbed. But the other guy that won did a great job. But our TD Nation members are just killing it. There's thousands and thousands of people submitting for the Beachbody Challenge every day, and TD Nation just continues to produce results. And I'm very, very proud of that. So I'm interested as we start 2016 with a new ebook and a new plan and new focus. I'm really interested to see who kind of steps out and wins the Beachbody Challenge and has the next transformation that's going to drop everybody's jaw. It's so exciting for me at the beginning of the new year because we've got all these people, and you just never know. You never know who it's finally going to click with, and the weight's going to start flying off, and they're just going to be unrecognizable in 6-9 months. It's really cool. So at the end of the call, I'm going to be doing, I'm going to give you guys a question, and based on the answers, based on the comments throughout the call, I'm going to be giving away a few things. One of the things two of the things I'm going to give away are I've got some samples of the Beachbody Performance line. So each box has like a thing of creatine, a thing of Beachbody's new Energize, which is a pre-workout, but it doesn't have any of the scary stuff in it. It's really safe, all natural, and I love it. The Beachbody Recharge, which is to take before you go to bed, helps with muscle recovery. The Hydrate, it's kind of like Gatorade, but without all the sugar and chemicals, so a lot better for you during your workout. And then probably my favorite is the Beachbody Recover, which I take right after my workout to help with muscle soreness. So I've got 2 of these boxes I'll be giving away. I've got 3 Asylum Agility Ladders with jump ropes that I'll be giving away. And the biggest prize of all is, so I've got P90X2, the entire program, and I've got there's some bonus things in here for you, bonus workouts, but the entire P90X2 program. So I'll be giving that away to somebody tonight. So I'm pretty excited. Let's see. News about this coming year. I think you guys all know because we've been posting about it like crazy, but I started working on version 2.0 of the new meal plan and ebooks, and I started that in October. And myself and one of our coaches, David Jeffries, is also my web guy. We finally got it all lined out in the ebook and got it out. I'm sorry we had a few problems. For some reason, last night, I don't know what time, around 7 or so, our e-commerce site stopped communicating with PayPal, and we still don't know why that happened, but we got it fixed. So if you can all go on to tdbootcamp.com and read all about the boot camps and the ebook and the meal plans and order it if you want. And then after you order it, make sure you get in touch with your coach so they can put you in our private support group. The boot camp is like where it's at. If there's one thing I can advise you guys to do, it's invest. It's just $25 for the entire year. You can go through the boot camps as much as you want, but if you're looking for accountability, the boot camps are where it's at, because every week I have you guys fill out a fitness activity tracker form. Well, I don't make you, but if you want to, you know, it's there to fill out. You can let me know how much weight you've lost if you haven't lost weight, so I can review your calories and your macros and see how you're doing and see if I can find anything that's going to help you progress if you're not progressing. So it's the number one best thing you can do to ensure success is just invest in yourself, 25 little bucks. You know, if you don't have $25, I've been telling the people that didn't, to just put $5 in an envelope for 5 weeks and you'll have it. And if you go through boot camp and you're not pleased and you don't like the results, let me know and we'll refund your money. I mean, that's how confident I am. We had over 1,000 people go through it last year, and everybody had success. If they didn't, you'd see people blasting me in TD Nation and saying that my program sucks, and that just doesn't happen. So it's the number one thing you can do. We've got Perfection Crew starting January 11th. Joey will be heading that up for me. I don't know if you guys saw me announce this like some point last year, but TD Nation has grown so much that I can't buy shirts for all of you guys that are getting through Perfection Crew. I'll still have them available if you want to buy them, but we're just too big. When it started, you know, there was 10 people making it through or 5 people making it through. It was fine, but now you guys are just too impressive and we're growing too much, and I can't afford to buy you all shirts. So I'll still have them available. I'm not marking them up at all. You'll get them at cost just for going through, and we'll do that this year. In January, I don't know the exact date, but Tony Horton has a new program coming out called 22-Minute Hardcore. It's 22 minutes. It's all body work. It's set to a cadence. It's done on military bases. Looks really cool. We'll be setting up a private group for that when that comes out. And then the thing I'm most excited about, because I've been taking Shakeology for like 5 years now, and I always need a new flavor, but they're coming out with Cafe Latte, so the coffee Shakeology on January 11th, which I'm really psyched about. And then, of course, we've got the TD Nation Retreat in April. So if you don't know what the retreat's about, go to tdnationretreat.com. You can read all about the retreat. All the information's in there. But we just get together. The one thing I want to just tell you guys is that don't be afraid to come to the retreat. We have a ton of people coming already, but I know some of you get really nervous, especially since we're a fitness community, and you think that you have to be 5% body fat to show up. And I'm telling you guys, there will be people from every part of the spectrum. There'll be people just starting their journey. There'll be people well into their journey, and there'll be everything in between. But we don't judge people. We love everybody. We just want to get together, have a great time. I'll tell you one thing: we don't eat very, very well at the retreat. You know, we get together, we work out, we party, we drink a lot, if that's what you want to do, and we eat a lot. So you do not have to be in phenomenal shape to come to the retreat and just enjoy everybody's company and get to know one another. Last year was the coolest thing I've ever been a part of was the retreat, and just watching people, you know, hugging each other, congratulating each other on their journeys, and you know, watching people like Penny, who's battling cancer, do burpees with a cane. I mean, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Watching Brian Beam, just amazed at how far he's come. He had lost 200 and, well, no, I don't know what he had lost at the retreat, 180 maybe. He's lost 209 now, but at that point I think it was 180 or something. And just watching him just be amazed at what he could do and doing workouts that, I mean, a pretty advanced that we were all doing. I mean, modifying it in his own way, but making it through it. And I just couldn't have been more proud of everybody there. It was definitely the highlight of my year. So this year we got bigger things planned for the retreat, and I'm so looking forward to it. I just cannot wait to see everybody. And that's it. All right, we talked about last year. We talked about this year. So I don't see Brian on the call yet. So I think we're just going to turn it over to Alan. Alan, if you want, man, if you want to just introduce yourself, kind of tell, you know, how you found TD Nation, and then, you know, just kind of tell everybody how they can succeed in 2016. Some of your best tips since you've done it and lost 64 pounds and won $1,500 and now have your own awesome team.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So, you know, my story begins, you know, I got married coming out of college and started grad school, and, you know, as we all know.
Hey, I'm sorry, Dr. Allen. I apologize.
Dr. Allen, yes, recent graduated with my PhD. You know, just got married, and you just get the slow weight creep up. It just sneaks up on you, and pretty soon I found myself at like 230 pounds and 30% body fat, and just I really was not happy with myself. And really, the game changed when my son was born, and you know, it just wasn't about me anymore. I knew I had to set the right example for him and my wife also. So I decided, you know what, this is ridiculous. I'm going to turn the page and start something different. And decided I was going to start with Insanity, and did that. Lost probably 11 pounds. I was eating better. Wasn't tracking anything. And then jumped into P90X. And then you know, 2 more months, I think I'd lost up to 16 pounds. And I was getting frustrated because I wasn't losing that much weight. And I was looking up P90X results videos on YouTube, and I came across this goofy guy's video named Lance. And, you know, watched it a few times and decided to email him, and, you know, he hooked me up, got me in the group, became my coach, gave me some really good nutritional advice because I was doing the workouts, I was being consistent, but he, you know, Lance really helped me get my nutrition down. And so in the first 4 months before that, I lost 16 pounds. In the next 4 months, I lost 40 pounds. The only difference, tracking my nutrition, hitting specific calorie and macro goals, and just not being perfect every day, but just being consistent, and that made the world of difference. You know, fast forward another few months, and I got down to 166, and you know, so 64 pounds down, and then, you know, since then I've been doing reverse diet, bulking, gaining cycles, followed by body fat cuts, and right now I'm at the peak of a bulk, so I'm getting ready to start another body fat cut. But it's just long-term consistency is the best thing you can do. And when we say, if you want to make good progress, log your food, do your best to hit specific macro and calorie goals, I mean, it really does make the difference. I lost over double the amount of weight when I was being consistent with my nutritional tracking. So do it. It really helps. And yes, my throat is sore, so you get to listen to my Josh Turner voice tonight for all you country fans out there. But the other things that I've found that I think has really helped me succeed is that you're going to have good days, good weeks. You're going to have bad days and bad weeks. And, sometimes it's you do everything right and, you still don't lose weight. And sometimes, all right, I kind of slacked off and I didn't lose weight. But, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't let it get you down. There's no good thing about, frustration isn't going to help you. Just pick yourself up and go, well, that wasn't how I wanted it to be, so, I guess I'm just going to try to knuckle down and do a little bit better this week, and just always try to do, 1% better every week, every day, and over time that compounds and do some pretty big changes. Don't get frustrated. Just keep on going and, do your best every day. And, if you're, 90%, 100% of the time, you're going to do some pretty amazing things. Where people get into trouble is where they try to be 100% of the time, and they fall off the track a little bit, and it just puts them on a downward spiral because they get frustrated because, I broke down, I had a cookie or a piece of pizza or whatever, and it turns in from one thing to a day to a week to, oh man, it's been a month that I've been off. So just, well, that wasn't that great, but I guess I'll do better tomorrow. And really that's about the best thing you can do for mentality-wise. And then another quick couple points. I'll try to be brief, as Lance doesn't think that's possible.
Hey, I'm not judging. I'm never brief, so.
I see a lot of people, and not so much here because I think us coaches really do a good job at trying to get you guys to understand food, but as Lance kind of touched on earlier, there's no good or just bad foods. Obviously, if you have an allergy or something, there's foods you want to avoid. Just because you don't want to eat stuff that's going to give you an allergic reaction, but everything is in context of your overall nutrition plan. So if you really want to, you can work an Oreo into your daily plan, and it's fine. And it's actually important to give yourself some treats like that every now and then because it keeps you mentally in the game. Because if you try to just go, all out, just chicken, rice, and broccoli, you're going to fall off and you're going to spiral out. So it's important to give yourself those little victories and those little rewards for doing good. And as long as you work it into your calories, and even more so if you work it into your macros, you're going to be fine. I remember when when I was on my original weight loss journey, and my dad was coming down, and he wanted to take me out to the Outback for dinner, and it sounds like 1,800 calories a day, and the Outback, what I usually get is like 1,400 calories. So that morning, I had my Shakeology for a late breakfast. At like 10, we went golfing, and I think I had P90X2 base and back, which is plyometrics and pull-ups for an hour, so it's like a super hard workout. And then I basically had like hardly any carbs before or after it. So I did the workout, had Shake-O, then went golfing, and I got about 4 holes into the round, and it was like, just had nothing. But I got through, and we went to the Outback, and I had my steak and my salad and the cheesy fries, and they were glorious. But importantly, my point is what I did is the day before I logged exactly what I was going to have. I worked it into my calories. I think I was on 2,000 calories a day, and I came in like 100 calories under my goal. My macros were shot, but I planned for it. My calories were in line, and I still lost like 2 pounds that week with having a big cheat meal. So, is that even really a cheat? If I didn't sacrifice progress, is that a cheat? And I got to have a nice meal. I got to have time with my dad and enjoy it and not feel guilty about what I was eating. And, the next day, right back to business as normal and just kept on going. So those are good things to keep in mind. And, I try to preach this like hard to my team that, don't get frustrated or whatever with, oh my gosh, I had whatever. Work it in your day and you're fine. Just where people get into trouble is it comes up last minute and you go for it. You can do it, but you have to plan for it ahead of time. And if you're having one thing like for dinner the day before, log that first, and then go log breakfast, and then go log lunch and compensate around it, and you'll be fine. So I guess those are my big tips.
Those are great tips, man. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. I hope everybody wrote those suckers down because those are great. I think, I agree with you. I don't think that's, I wouldn't consider what you had with your dad a cheat meal. I consider cheating when I go over, So yeah, I think that's great. And I think, trust me, guys, when I started my fitness journey, shoot, if you search, you can probably find an article I wrote when I started my fitness journey about how milk is bad. And so, there's all these things. We're always learning. We're always evolving. Science always takes us to new places. But, I don't mind that article's still out there. I'm not taking it down. It's just because, I've learned to not totally fearmonger all these foods and think that certain foods are bad. And what I found out is I can still lose weight eating any kind of foods that I want as long as I'm hitting my calories and macros. Now, to Alan's point, can you fit an Oreo in your meal? Yes, you can. But in order to hit those calories and macros, you're still going to have to eat a lot of whole, healthy foods. You can't have 10 Oreos a day and expect to see results. It's not going to happen. So.
Well, I think also when people try to tell you that there's specific, good and bad foods, take their argument to the logical extremes or to the extremes and see if it's still logical. So if you come in and say that, an Oreo is bad for you and it's going to make you gain body fat, you could say, so if the only thing I eat in a day is 5 Oreos, are you saying I'm going to gain body fat in the course of that day? Or if chicken, broccoli, and rice is good for you and you'll make progress. So I'll say if I eat 5,000 calories of chicken, broccoli, and rice, am I going to drop body fat? Well, the obvious answer is no.
Right.
So of course it's all in context.
Right.
And that's the beauty of why we like MyFitnessPal so much, is just because it lets you go in and say, okay, so this is what's in, an Oreo or whatever, and if you understand the food that you're eating, and I was talking to a new client the other day, a new team member, and she's like, I have a fear of food. And she hadn't been tracking and she was trying to eat intuitively, and it turns out she kind of undereats a lot, just because she's scared of eating too much, eating the wrong things, gaining weight. So to overcome that fear, start logging and understanding what you're doing. Okay, if I need to get macros, I need to spread this much protein sources out throughout the day, and I have to eat this many fruits and veggies, and I can have a little bit of pasta to get my carbs up, and maybe I can have this kind of treat if I want, but it also gives you confidence to have certain things to where I want to go to the Outback, so I know how to work that in, and you don't feel guilty, and it's not cheating, and it doesn't even show up a blip on the radar. Maybe a little bit of water retention for higher salt, but that blips down and disappears back within a couple days. So, understand what you're doing, and it takes the fear out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hit your calories, hit your macros, get your fiber in, drink your water, exercise. You guys will be good. All right, thanks, Alan. That was great, man. Good tip. Good tips.
Drops Mike.
And we got Brian, and I can see him moving, so maybe we can hear him.
We'll see this goes. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm good.
You're looking good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're in the swing of things. I know you started a new job.
Yeah, we're digging out of the hole a little bit. Yeah, it's getting better.
Good, good. Well, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell your story? I think a lot of people have seen it, but some may not have, and kind of, how you found TD Nation, and then you always, man, I miss your videos, man, because you inspire me so much. Your videos are so good, seriously. So I wanted you on the call just to share some of that knowledge and share some of those tips, and maybe help keep some of these people motivated. There may be somebody sitting out there that just doesn't think that weight loss is possible, and because I know when I started my journey, I was like that. I didn't think weight loss was possible, and luckily I figured it out, and I know you were probably the same way without thinking maybe weight loss wasn't possible without drastic measures, and now you've proved that it is. So I'm sure there's somebody sitting out there watching this that you're going to inspire. No pressure, but
not feeling any pressure at all, Lance.
All right, man. Just introduce yourself, tell your story, man.
Well, my name is Brian. When I started this journey, it was just about 18 months ago. I was 450 pounds, 3 blood pressure medications, having trouble getting through the workday. I'm a meat cutter by trade, so I'm on my feet all the time. And I just had that break moment at work when my knees and legs hurt so bad and tears in my eyes, and I thought, what the hell am I doing? How am I going to get through the workday? If I can't work, what does life look like then? I was trying to lose 250 pounds. How do you do that? I just started eating right, and I walked, and then I found this group, and Greg Langley brought me to the group. I came in kind of kicking and screaming a little bit. I thought it was I was not a believer when he first introduced it to me. I thought, man, these guys are just going to get me in there and try to sell me all kind of stuff, and everything they suggested to me, I fought them tooth and nail just because they were suggesting it, and finally then
no, that doesn't happen. Nobody does that.
Just stop being stupid for just a second, and it's changed my life. I was down to 239 pounds, so it was 211 total lost. I would not have been able to do that if it would not been for this group. Those are all the positive things I wanted to talk to you about tonight, but I had some other thoughts too. These last couple of months with a new job and some transitions in my life have been pretty hard on me. I've said it to all my team members, that life's about managing the transitions, and I didn't practice what I preached through this process. And that's really what it's about. When we catch a rhythm, right, we're doing everything and our days look similar, and we manage that. But then when something changes, what happens? What do we do? What does that look like? So I really want to talk to you all about tonight about managing those transitions in our lives. Nothing stays the same, right? Everything, take the Langley situation for just a second with the babies and their children and evolving through football season and this season. Nothing stays the same, so we have to manage that. Think about that. So I put a little bit back on, and I haven't been going that good. And the reason why that happened is I did a couple of things. I unplugged from this group, which was not a smart thing to do. So if you're struggling, push into the group. Don't. It bothers me so bad when I see somebody post on here that they're ashamed of the fact that they're struggling, or that they're, if you want to be frustrated, fine. If you want to be angry, I'm cool with that. Please don't be shameful. And those are all such strong emotions that, in my mind, push us further into where we're trying to get out of. If you want to be frustrated and, I don't know, go kick a rock, I don't know, whatever, something, I don't know. Just don't use those words. And Joey calls people out for using things like only. When I see shame or any of that stuff, I think I may make that my job to call people out, because I don't want anybody to be ashamed of anything that they've done. Let's talk about how we can change it. Let's talk about what we're going to do better. Shame, and I know I had some other buzzwords that people use that I can't think of them now, but I think everybody kind of gets what I'm saying. So tomorrow's a new day for me, and I've read a lot on here. The holidays are rough on a lot of people, so I'm sure I'm not the only one sitting here tonight thinking, boy, holidays didn't go like I thought, and yeah, there are excuses, but it's our reality. So I don't want anybody thinking backwards. Monday, January 4th can be a new day for everybody. We'll push a little harder, find that comfort spot, catch a rhythm, and then when life changes, push into the group. Let's figure out how we can navigate those things. But please, let's try to avoid that being ashamed, and those are just dangerous emotions in my mind. And I really thought about, I wanted to do, a triathlon this year, and I still may do that, but I've learned a lot more than that, and I really, right now, I'm focusing on getting to the retreat. I have a number goal in my head I'd like to be at by the retreat. And by the way, I did buy my ticket before the year ended, so I did get the discount. So I don't know if you noticed that, Lance, but I did get it in under the wire.
I was watching.
I know you've had a couple of things going on over the last couple of weeks that you may not be noticing that. But
no, I noticed.
But that's really my thoughts here, is really about battling back through some adversity and keep some of those really rough emotions in check, and let's all try to make the day better for each other. And this is an amazing place, and you'll get in trouble when you don't post, when you leave, when you back away. That's when you'll have problems. So stay plugged in, and this will all work. So that's kind of my thoughts for tonight.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better, Brian. That was perfect. It's something that we don't go over enough, and lately, especially towards the end of the year, I've seen quite a few people actually, post that they feel bad and they're leaving the group, and man, that's the worst thing you could do. And then luckily a lot of those people who have left have came back, but man, it's like almost like your family's gonna be there for you. If you've fallen, that's okay, man. Let us help you. Don't shut the door in our face. Don't block us out. We've all been there. We all know how hard it is. If you leave the group, we can't do anything about it. You're just gone. And whether you guys believe that or not, that hurts us. We want to be there and help you guys. We know that, with everything on the internet, it's just there's not a lot of supportive places out there. And we cherish this group, and we make sure that it is a supportive and positive place. And if somebody gets in that's just a negative cancer that's criticizing people, we boot them. So we want this to be a very safe, secure place for you guys. And I say this all the time, but you see even professional athletes at the height of their careers go to people for support. They have trainers. They have an athletic staff that helps them get better and improve. And there's a reason that even people at the height of their career aren't doing things alone. It's because it's very hard for us to do things alone. We need each other. We need those relationships. So Brian, I don't think you could have said it any better, man.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this, Brian, since you're there and you've went down the long road, and I said this at the retreat, but I think one of the hard things, and I'm putting you on the spot, so but I know one of the hard things for a lot of people, especially those that have like an astronomical amount of weight to lose, is, you know, you're looking, and I say this all the time, but you're looking 26 miles down the road rather than that first step. And it just seems, the mountain seems too high to climb. So what motivated you to just start making that first step?
Well, you know, you need to break it down into smaller parts as necessary for you. So you gotta do a little soul searching. You know, if you're the kind of person that can say, I just want to make this next week the best it can be, then that's what you do. And then you just keep building on those weeks. If you can't even look forward a week, you know, have breakfast and say, you know, my goal right now is to get to lunch and not have anything go wrong. Have a plan. But, you know, yes, as when I was facing losing so much weight, I didn't think about the totality of the task, if that makes sense. I just thought about losing 1 pound 250 times, not 250 pounds. You know, I can't think of those types of numbers. And time went quicker than I thought it would too. So just make each day the best you can make it. And when you fail, and notice I said when you fail, not if you fail.
Mm-hmm.
You just make the next day better. Just keep going. Keep your eye on the prize. And there was one of the first calls that I sat in on with Lance when I first started. He talked about why power and your personal currency. What's going to make you reach these goals? And I don't know that we talk about that enough anymore. All the science and all that stuff, that's great, and we need all that. But boy, why power is really important. Why do you want to do this? And I can tell you, if it's going to be to look better for your husband or wife, or that's not going to cut it. I'll tell you right now, that's not going to keep you through the tough days. You really need to dig and figure out what your why is. Why do you want to get healthy? Why do you want to feel better? Is it, for me, it was to start living life again. For some people, it's to, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but you really need to think about why you want to do this. And I can assure you, you know, motivating for your kids or your grandkids. I have 4 grandchildren, and I want to see them go to high school, go to college. I'm a young man. I'm only 47 years old. There's no reason why that can't happen. So, so that's kind of where you got to be in my mind.
Absolutely, man. It's you actually touched. I'm going to go through a couple of my tips, and you touched on a couple of them. But having that why is huge, and for me, it's, you know, I definitely, you guys all know this, but I definitely, my why was to get healthy for my wife and kids. It wasn't to have abs or be muscular or anything like that. It was really just to provide more time for my wife and kids because I knew the road I was headed on. And then also, you know, it turned into my legacy, and legacy for me is a huge thing, and I'm always thinking about it. I'm always aware of it. You know, we've only got one shot here on Earth. What are we gonna do with it? You know, am I just gonna be a miserable person and just look out for myself and eat and watch TV, or am I gonna do something with my life? Am I gonna, you know, be a positive role model for my daughter, someone they can look up to, someone they can, you know, strive to be like? Or, you know, I think about that all the time. I think about, are they watching me? Do they know that you know, most of my day is spent helping other people selflessly, and I'm just so aware of that. And, you know, pretty much everything I do, I do with just picturing them being right over my shoulder and watching me, and just making sure that I'm doing everything to the highest standard. So that means the world to me. That's my why. That's what drives me. But, you know, they were my why at first, and now you guys are helping you guys. I didn't expect, of course I hoped, but I really didn't expect this to be 2,000 members strong. We struggled to get 5 or 10 people in groups back when I started, and luckily, thank the Lord, I just found some amazing people to surround myself with, and our coaches just are just unbelievable and make our groups. And I still say, you know, I'm not the reason TD Nation has grown to where it is. I firmly believe that our coaches are people like Brian and Kim and Alan and all of them that are on this call. They're just amazing people, and they just have hearts of gold. So I'm so proud of that. So I'll go through, you know, a list of, like, I think I got 11 things written down here that I think you guys should really write down and put it in a place where you can reflect on it if you're having bad times, if you're thinking about leaving the group, if you're thinking fitness and nutrition's too hard. You need to jump back and look at this list, and hopefully it will help you and inspire you. But before I do that, Brian, thank you, man. You couldn't have said it better, man. It was awesome.
My pleasure. I'm glad the internet finally worked out.
I'm thrilled, man, because I wanted you on here to talk so much because you're so inspiring. I love you, man. I'm so proud of you. So you lost 211?
Yep. More videos to come, I promise. The work's leveling out a little now.
We need more Brian, man. We definitely do.
Excellent.
All right, so let me just give you guys my list, and then we're at 45 minutes. That's not bad. I'll run through this list, and then if you guys want to start typing Q&As, if you want to type some questions in the comments, go ahead and do that. We'll try to get to some of those if you guys have questions about anything. All right, so get your pens and papers out. Write these down because I think these are really important. Number one, post and participate. If you guys don't post and participate and you're not developing relationships, you're not going to get the most out of this group. I promise you, if I didn't have personal relationships with people on TD Nation, I wouldn't be where I am. It would be very easy for me to leave the group and totally disassociate myself with everybody and go back to, you know, not focusing on my nutrition. So I think it's one of the most important things you can do. Number two is write your goals down. When we had these weekly calls, we had weekly calls like this every week, we talked about writing your goals down all the time. It's so important. You have to, you know what target you're aiming at. So write down your goals, and then also write down your why you're doing it. Brian touched on it. Why are you wanting to get fit and healthy? And it has to be more than looking good in a swimsuit. That can be part of the equation if you want it to be. I'm fine with that. But it can't be the whole equation. If it's the whole equation, I really think you're missing out on the big picture of life. Because I promise you, when you go to the pool, nobody gives two shits about how you look in a swimsuit. They just don't. Nobody's going to remember it. When you leave the pool, nobody's going to remember what you look like in that swimsuit. And I really think that, you know, the point of life is to just be there for other people. And in order to do that, we need to be as healthy as possible so that we can provide, you know, be here as long as we can and just provide people with help and support and make life better. So write your goals down. What's your why? Find a success partner or find success partners. I don't think just finding one is enough. I have several because, quite honestly, and you guys see this, and this happens with even our coaches, we go in and out, life happens, things happen, things are thrown at us beyond our control, and it's really hard to stay plugged in 100% of the time all year long. So have a couple success partners. Maybe form a little group with like 5 people, and you have 5 people that you can rely on. That hey, and you can say, hey, if I don't post in a while, will you reach out to me and say, hey, what's up? You know, get those 5 people. Maybe it's, you know, but if you don't post, back to number one, if you don't post and you don't participate, then you'll never develop those relationships and know who might make a good success partner for you. Number 5, go through as many boot camps as possible. You know, if you're a coach, you get it free. If you buy Hammer and Chisel or Shakeology, you get it free. Otherwise, it's just $25, and it is going to teach you everything you need to know about food, about changing the composition of your body. It's going to make dieting bearable. It's the best thing that we offer. So go through it, and then go through it as many times as possible, because if you're somebody that needs accountability, the boot camps are where it's at. I have you fill out those forms every week so you can be checking in with me. You can tell me how much weight you've lost or gained, and we can help you work around all those problems. Number 6, I really think you guys should do one of two things. I am sure, as a personal trainer, from seeing people work out at gyms, from seeing people print out workouts from, you know, whatever free program they're doing, your workout intensity and how you're working out and the moves you're doing are not as good as you could be doing with a Beachbody program. And I don't say that to sell you guys stuff. I say that as a friend and a leader on TD Nation because I want you guys to get the best results. You can activate 30 days of on-demand if you want, and try out over $3,000 worth of Beachbody programs. So activate that for 30 days. Try them out. You will see what I'm talking about. And if you don't like it in 30 days, cancel it. Write me. Tell me I'm an idiot and I was wrong. I'll be happy to accept that. But I'm telling you I'm not wrong. The programs Beachbody puts out, they put a lot of science into them. There's nothing like them anywhere. And it's one of the main reasons for my results. And if you don't have Wi-Fi, you know, there's tons of programs. We even have programs for like $40. So, you know, you talk to your coach. They can get you set up with the right program for your goals and where you're at fitness-wise. Number 7, this is important. This is really important. I want you guys to know that you're responsible for your success, okay? Not your coach. Don't blame your coach if you don't succeed. You guys are responsible for your success. If you need help, please push your ego aside, reach out to your coach, and just ask for help. If you need more follow-ups than your coach is providing, reach out to them and just say, hey, can you follow up with me once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month? They will be happy to do it. This is our oxygen. We love helping you guys. That's why we became coaches, not because we know everything, but because we just want to help and inspire people and teach people the right way, the healthy way to lose weight. So if you need help, don't go into the blame I'm a victim mode and say I'm not hitting results because my coach doesn't follow up with me or my coach hasn't reached out. Follow up with them and say, hey, can you do this for me? And they're going to be more than happy to, I promise you. Reach out to them when you need help. Number 9, this is a huge one, patience. You have got to have patience. You are not going to see abs in 3 months, 4 months. I guess it depends on what your current body fat is, but you didn't get to where you're at overnight, and you're not going to get to your goals overnight. You have to be patient, and you have to just, you know, put horse blinders on, work on your nutrition, work out, and just do the best you can every day. Number 10, Brian touched on this. Forgive yourself when you mess up because you're not going to be perfect. You in a year now, some people in the perfection crew might be, and those people are rare. But for an entire year, you're not going to be perfect. So when you mess up, when you slip up, don't throw in the towel. You have got to just forgive yourself, get back into it the next day, and move on. And right now, honestly, I see a lot of people who are just not forgiving themselves for when they screw up. And I promise you, if you don't forgive yourself and you just leave the group, you're not going to hit your goals. So stay in, forgive yourself, talk to your coach, get refocused, and kick some butt. Lastly, and this is what I did for so many years. So I'm not saying this as I'm judging people, but don't coast through life. Be intentional, and I'm saying that by writing your goals down. You know, 5 years ago, I was in a job that I absolutely hated, and I dreaded Mondays, couldn't wait till Fridays. I was 267 pounds, severely overweight, and just coasting through life, just waking up thinking I'm just going to have to do this job, and I'm going to be overweight until I die. And I was coasting through life. And then one day something hit me. I was in Disney World and was having pains in my feet walking around and wanted to be in the hotel at 1 o'clock and when I should have been playing with my daughters, and I thought I just can't do this anymore. Something's got to change, and it was that brought me to being intentional. So when I started to be intentional and I said when I get home I'm going to start eating better, I'm going to start working out, I did it. I wrote down my goals, I wrote down my why, I put pictures of my daughter in my gym, and I went to work, and I was intentional about it. I wasn't perfect. I messed up several times. My first 3 rounds of P90X were in no way perfect. But when I started, I remember my first yoga session. I joke about this all the time. Thursday, P90X yoga, first one. I thought, finally, an exercise I can do. I'm just going to sit down and stretch. And I started doing P90X yoga, and I made it 10 minutes and said, screw this. This is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And after I turned it off, I was really, aggravated and frustrated that I couldn't do it. I thought, you know what? Who cares? I made it 10 minutes. Next week, I'm going to make it 15. And I just made it my goal next week to just make it 15 minutes. And then the next week, 20 and 30. And then by the end of the first 90-day period, I was doing yoga. Not pretty, but I was doing it all. So, that's what I would lastly say is just don't coast through life. Be intentional. Write your goals down. Write your whys down. You guys have anything else to add? No? Is everybody muted?
I think you took care of it, bud.
Cool. Look at that. 54 minutes.
It's a new record.
You need to ramble on a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. I got like 6 minutes. Let's do this. Joey, you got anything to add, man?
Not really. You guys covered it. I mean, the biggest thing for me, stay plugged in. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you screw up, just stay plugged in. I mean, it's been mentioned all night tonight, but it's so true. So, other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Good. Kim, how about you? Anything?
Just love what Brian said. Keep at it. Keep at it. Stuff happens. Life happens. I'm at a hospital right now, but I'm still working at it, and I'm going to continue.
Awesome. Awesome. We love you, Kim. We love you guys.
Thanks.
What about you, Matt? Anything to add, buddy?
No, I mean, if you don't get like pumped up with what Alan was saying, and especially what Brian was saying, I mean, you really need to check yourself. I mean, this stuff like that. I mean, seeing what those guys have done, what they continue to do, and just putting themselves back and helping other people now. I mean, if this doesn't get you pumped up for the beginning of the year, then you really need to take a step back and see if you're really wanting to do this. So.
Yeah. Ashley, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing great. A little on the downside on being sick, but everything sounds great. Everything sounds great. Stay plugged in and log your nutrition.
That's right. That's right. Can Dave hear me? Dave, what's up, man? You're muted.
It's on.
You got anything to add, buddy?
Up here. You guys hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hey, sorry. Yeah, no, I couldn't add anything else to what Alan and Brian and you said. You guys are awesome, super inspirational. I just say, stay consistent, and the nutrition, it works. That was my biggest thing coming into this group was, I couldn't figure out the nutrition to save my life, and the MyFitnessPal thing, it really works. So, but everything else those guys said is just absolutely awesome. So I'm excited for the year.
I am too, man. I'm so pumped. How about Tim? What's up, man? You're muted too, but I don't know if you can hear us. I think you can.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, brother?
Pretty good. Hey, the biggest thing I want to add is just realize that this isn't a diet. Diets fail, and that's why people get frustrated. So just keep in your mind that this isn't it's a lifestyle change. It's not a diet, and you'll get through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dog says hi.
Yeah, it's a cute dog, man. Sweet, man. All right, well, let's go. Question of the day. We're gonna do, and this is I'm gonna read through all these comments tonight. I think we were pretty much blowing up Facebook, right? It looks like the thread was. There's a lot of comments, so I'm gonna go through and read every one of them tonight. So I hope you guys are still on the call because this is what's gonna determine the prizes I give out. So I want to know what is your big scary goal in 2016, and what's your why that's going to get you there? What are you going to focus on to make sure that you hit your goals in 2016? Sound good? I can't wait to read them. All right, guys. I love you all very much. I'm so excited for the year. I think I think we're all set up to just crush 2016. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see these transformations. We never know who's gonna like step out of the shadows and just just shock us with their transformation. It's so cool. And I really can't wait till the TD Nation retreat. I'm so pumped. I'm already having trouble sleeping at night, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, love you. Have a wonderful night, and let your coaches know if you need anything at all.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.